What is up, everybody? It's Dynamic here, and welcome back to another MLW video. Now, today we are going to be talking about 5 players that I think have a pretty high probability of retiring. Obviously, you never really know what's going on in these players' lives, what situations they have that will cause them to retire. So these are purely just guesses, but some people have commented about, like asking me, for example, if Kyle Schultz is going to retire, and we'll talk about that in a second. So I thought I would give my kind of ideas for players that we might be seeing a last season from. Now, I know it's been a couple days since I posted a video, but I was patiently awaiting the news of a Drew Davis trade, which has never came up to this point, so hopefully it will be released either in Monday's video or at some point along this week, and I will definitely make a video about that. But before we get to that, make sure y'all subscribe. I'm on the road to 1,000 subs, and we're getting pretty close, so if you guys like MLW content, make sure to subscribe, and let's get into the video. So the first player we're going to start out with is Trevor Bonham from the Metro Magic. He is a guy who we really haven't seen play at all this year, so I thought this would be a safe pick. And with this pick of Trevor Bonham, I'm kind of going to gather up all these players that we haven't seen this year. That includes guys like Brendan Davenport, Sean Flynn, a couple of these players that they haven't been here this year, and it wouldn't really be super surprising if one of them happened to retire by the end of the year. The reason I called out Trevor Bonham specifically is because he's a guy that I actually think could be making a pretty big impact on this Metro Magic team, especially after Grant Miller left the team. We know that this team's been looking for a second arm. I don't know if they'd go to Bonham for that, but he's definitely a guy that you can put in there occasionally. And then also Trevor Bonham, he likes to draw walks. He can get on base. Yes, he's not the best at it or anything, but I think he'd definitely help out this Magic team right now. So it's just kind of a question mark to where he's been all year. If anyone knows, please let me know down below in the comments. And also let me know if you guys think Trevor Bonham will come back or if he's going to retire. So the next guy we're going to look at here is Tommy Coughlin III, who has been a pretty popular player when it comes to talking about player retirements, because there are a lot of people that think he will be retiring after this year. Me personally, I don't really know. He has had 2 bad seasons in a row, which obviously isn't the best. He could also look to Jordan Robles to replace him, which would make a lot of sense. But I really think the main contributing factor to him retiring, and a big clue, could be them starting to bring on Ty Fresnick to the MLW Pipe It Up podcast. I feel like they could have brought him on to replace TC3. I don't know if that's true or not. I kind of hope it's not true because I really like Jack and TC3 on the podcast. I think it works out perfectly. But if it's not, then that's great. If it is, then I guess good for Tommy if that's what he wants. But we'll really see with him. I don't think that if he retires, he'd be absolved from all league responsibilities. I think he'd still have a hand in what goes on in the league, but maybe just take more of a backstage role. So that could be something that MLW fans could look forward to. Then there's also Kyle Schultz, who is kind of in a similar role to Tommy. I actually believe that Kyle Schultz is good enough to be an all-star in today's league. He's just had a couple rough seasons for what he does, but as of right now, he's still a pretty decent player in the MLW, and I do think that he'll get back to a point where he was more elite. I just think he's had a rough couple of series these past couple years, and it hasn't really treated him super well. And then as a manager, I do believe he's a really good manager. I don't know if Kyle will ever leave MLW since he was the creator. I really hope he doesn't. He's a great commissioner. He does a lot to kind of change the game. He does things to implement it without ruining the game, so I do love him as a commissioner. But I do think that there will be a point where Kyle will hang up the cleats when it comes to actually playing the game and take a backstage role. And I bet when he does that, the league will become a lot better when he can just fully focus on that. But as of right now, while I do think Kyle Schultz has a small % chance to retire, he's probably the least likely out of everyone on this list. I just think it is interesting to point him out and kind of talk about it, because I've gotten some comments and some people saying that they think that Kyle should probably retire. And I don't think we're at that point yet. I think we're still 3 or 4 years away, but we'll see. All right, and then for the last 2, I'm going to kind of pair them together with Drew Davis and Andy Duran. They are both guys that, in my opinion, yes, they could definitely stay for a couple more years in the league. I could see that happening. I wouldn't be surprised. But with everything that's been going down with Drew Davis recently, I do think that there is a chance that Andy Duran will retire because, yes, he is really good friends with Drew Davis. So that's something that if Drew Davis is traded away and Andy Duran isn't traded with him, he could retire. I really hope he doesn't because Andy Duran is honestly one of my favorite players in the league. He's probably my favorite Cobra. So I do hope that he doesn't retire because I do like him in the league, even though he hasn't had the best season. I think that he has some upside, and I've explained that in former videos, but I will say it again, that I do think that Andy Duran still has upside in this point at his career. And then there's obviously Drew Davis, who the reason I have him on this list, obviously he's going to be getting traded soon if you guys didn't know that already, but he has a ton of obligations. I explained this on my second channel, was that he is not only a part of the Warehouse League, but he is a part of a Blitzball League now too, and he's doing MLW. So that's just a lot of leagues, and he's going to school right now, and he's got a lot going on. I hear he works a couple different jobs as well. So you never really know with Drew Davis. I don't think it's super likely that he does retire. Maybe he takes a stripped back role. Obviously, if he is getting traded, he's not going to be the captain of the new team. So maybe kind of that's what that is. But I could also see a world where Drew Davis is like, you know what, I'm going to call it quits or take a couple years off. You know, I may or may not be back. And that's just something that could definitely happen. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about Andy Duran and Drew Davis. And also, where do you guys think Drew Davis is going to go? Now, this video has been recorded on a Sunday and I'm posting it on a Monday, so the trade might have already been announced, but if it wasn't, where do you guys think he's gonna go? Alrighty, y'all, that's gonna do it for today's video. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I'm really getting close to 1,000 subs, so if you guys would hit that subscriber button, it'd be huge for me. I would really appreciate it. And if you guys want to see more MLW content, make sure to just stick around, man. Thanks for watching, and peace.